Part 105. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1043. Sidu Yan's face was ugly and sullen, as if he was still angry about Ning Yue's matter. Chen Kailing sighed, the old madam is really sad this time, she was so angry that she shed tears inside, and we are not allowed to go in. The old lady will be strong for the rest of her life, even if she cries, she won't allow others to see her. Mu Zi asked, why did the old lady go to the court today? She clearly asked Shen Kong to only send a message to Sidu Yan and Chen Kailing. Unexpectedly, when the door opened, the old lady was also there. Not to mention Ning Yue, even Mu Zi was shocked at that time. Chen Kailing looked at Sidu Yan in embarrassment, and replied, when we were discussing this matter, the old lady accidentally overheard her. She insisted on following, so we didn't stop her. The main reason is that they didn't expect Ning Yue to say such terrifying words at that time, otherwise they really wouldn't dare to let the old lady go with them. What should they do if they get angry? At this time, the door of the ward was half opened. Mr. Sidu stood behind the door, saw Mu Zi and Murong Chen. You are here. Mu Zi said, let's come and see the old lady. I have a heart. Mr. Sidu nodded slightly, looking tired. Finally, his eyes fell on Sidu Yan's face. Mr. Sidu said to Sidu Yan, come in. The people outside the door didn't know why. Sidu Yan was slightly stunned, and walked into the ward with the old man. The old lady was lying on the hospital bed. She was awake, but her eyes were tightly closed, like a willful and naughty child, unwilling to recognize the real world clearly. Mom, are you feeling better? Sidu Yan asked in a low voice. The old lady pursed her lips, and after a while, she said to Sidu Yan, ask another lawyer for Yue. Sidu Yan was stunned, you still want to deal with her? Didn't you hear clearly enough in the court just now? She did all this to frame Zizi. Her heart is too cruel. No matter how ruthless it is, it was taught by the presidential palace. The corners of the old lady's eyes suddenly opened, and she shot at Sidu Yan like a sharp arrow. How old was she when she lived in the presidential palace? It was me, you, and each of us. She treats her like a princess, but doesn't give her the title of princess. That's why she became like this. Sidu Yan felt that he couldn't say that. Their kindness to Ning Yue could not be a reason for Ning Yue to do evil. But seeing the old lady's distressed expression, it was difficult for him to speak. Tears welled up, and the old lady burst into tears. She really hurts. When Ning Yue was received by her side, she was only a little bit small, a white and lovely girl who learned everything from piano, chess, calligraphy and painting, and was very obedient since she was a child. How did she become what she is now? The relationship of more than 10 years cannot be broken just by saying it. The old lady seemed to have lost all her strength, her voice fell, and she said hoarsely, we can't teach her badly, and put all the faults on her alone. There is no such reason in the world. Let her hire a lawyer. It can be regarded as the utmost benevolence. The dowry prepared for her will be given to her as usual, and her luggage will be moved to the wedding house bought earlier. Whether she lives or dies in the future has nothing to do with us. The old lady was disheartened, and after saying these words, she closed her eyes again. Sidu Yan understood that the old lady wanted to kick Ning Yue out. After all these things happened, it was impossible to tolerate her, but, after all, it was the child who grew up beside her. If she really wanted the presidential palace to deal with Ning Yue, the old lady couldn't bear it, so she even threw her luggage out. Disregard the relationship from now on. Sidu Yan was also unhappy. I see, you can rest assured to recover from your illness, and I will ask someone to do it. Sidu Yan hired a barrister for Ning Yue. But the lawsuit was ultimately lost, and Ning Yue was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison for negligent death. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HhandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 1044. When Muzi heard the news, she was taken aback. Didn't Ningyue have an alibi? Cheng smiled and said, heaven will take her. Her alibi is gone. Muzi was dumbfounded. Where's the surveillance video? Did you tamper with it? Am I like that kind of person? Cheng asked back. Muzi silently looked at him. Isn't it like? Cheng understood her eyes, raised his hand to pull her into his arms, and rubbed her hair. Do you understand, Fu Gang? Huh? Muzi struggled to raise her head, ignoring the mess on the top of her hair being rubbed by Cheng, and asked, what's going on? Why did her alibi disappear? There's a dead moth stuck to the surveillance camera. I don't know where it came from. Anyway, it's just a coincidence. It stuck to the camera. Cheng laughed. The shooting area that Ningyue walked was just blocked by the moth. Muzi's eyes widened, feeling unbelievable. This is the only evidence that Ningyue can normally not be there. Hasn't she checked it? It's too careless. A few days before the incident, she deliberately walked through that section of the road several times, and checked the surveillance video to make sure that the route she took could be photographed, but on the day of the incident, she did not check it. Cheng smiled. Said, because she wants to act, she wants everyone nearby to know that she was just passing by, so she just passed by there, and didn't go back to the commissary to check the surveillance. Cheng felt that this matter was very pleasant, and he also gloated a little. I can't live without doing my own crimes. It really opened my eyes. After Muzi listened, she didn't speak for a while. Cheng grabbed her waist and asked, what are you thinking? Muzi said softly, I'm thinking, although Ningyue didn't kill Xia Lixuan, I'm afraid Ningyue instigated him to kill him. Otherwise, Ningyue would confess to him in order to protect herself, but she didn't say anything, which means, it means that she paid for murder. Cheng finished the rest of the sentence for her. Muzi pursed her lips, nodded and said, that's right, if she paid someone to kill someone, then she committed murder intentionally and should be sentenced to first-degree murder, and 20 years is not enough, so she didn't say anything, and she didn't ask for it appeal. Muzi let out a long breath. Ningyue was too cruel. Xia Lixuan's death was really not worth it. Ningyue probably hired a killer on the black market, put on her clothes, a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses, dressed up as she usually does, and went to Xia's house. She is Xia Lixuan's fiancée, and Xia's servants will not stop her. Seeing Xia Lixuan fall down later, she would only think it was Ningyue's hand, but she didn't want to think about it. With Ningyue as a woman, how could she push Xia Lixuan, who was stronger than her, out of the window? This kind of thing, only trained killers can do it. As for the scream, it doesn't mean anything. When a woman screams, her voice will change, and it's impossible to tell whose voice it is. Muzi connected the cause and effect, and felt that Ningyue was more vicious. This viciousness was different from Cheng's viciousness. Most of Cheng's attack on people is out of profit, but Ningyue, what is Ningyue doing for? Envy. Resentment. Not reconciled? If Muzi hadn't guarded against her and went to jail for instigating witnesses to give false testimony, then all the whitewashing work that Sidu Yan and Cheng did for her on the internet would become a joke. Okay, don't think about her. Cheng put his arms around her and kissed her, and said, when is the holiday? Come with me to Zionghai to have fun, and relax by the way. It's still early. Muzi smiled. Winter vacation will take 2 months. The corners of Cheng's lips curled up slightly. Have you ever heard a saying, happy days are always extremely short? With me by your side, these 2 months will pass very quickly. Muzi couldn't help but stretch out her hands to pinch Cheng's handsome face. Shameless again. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 1046. Although Murong Cheng has a thick skin, his words always come true. I also felt that as long as he was with him, time would always pass quickly, even if the two of them just got bored in bed, they could pass the whole afternoon without knowing it. Murong Cheng had been with her in Jingling for a whole week, and he was going to Xianghai again. I felt that there were not many days at all, but when he was not around, it felt like years. Compared to those couples from different places who get together less and leave more, they are already very good. At least Murong Cheng will visit her often, and he will visit her for 3 to 5 days, but this amount of time is still not enough for the newlyweds. I began to look forward to the early arrival of winter vacation. She thought she was already in a hurry, but she didn't expect anyone to be more anxious than her. When December just entered, Zhuangjia called and invited Musa to celebrate Christmas together. Are you crazy? It's only number 1 now, I couldn't laugh or cry. Time flies, Zhuangjiali said confidently. Besides, if I ask you out earlier, what if you each have plans? I did have her own plan. I'm going to Xianghai for Christmas, maybe I won't go back to Qingjiang. I said apologetically. Zhuangjia immediately said, it's okay, anyway, we just don't know where to go, we can go to Xianghai City for Christmas. I's eyes lit up when she heard this, it was a good idea. Will Xinyuan go too? I said happily, if that's the case, I'll go back to Qingjiang to meet you first, and then we'll go to Xianghai together on a yacht. I's yacht has never had a chance to play a role, this time it happened to be able to entertain friends, and by the way, he took the yacht to Xianghai. There are not many opportunities to return to Qingjiang in the future, and it is useless for the yacht to stay in Qingjiang. Zhuangjia was excited and kept saying yes. Zhuangjia likes parties and excitement, but because of what happened to her recently, she has become wary of many people and only wants to hang out with a few close friends. The generous Wang Zilong is also a busy man now. It's rare to celebrate Christmas, and finally we can get together. The festive atmosphere is everywhere, and large Christmas trees have been erected on the streets early. Although they have not been decorated yet, the embryonic form can already be seen. The Judicial Training Institute was also decorated, and the janitors hung colorful lights on the trees in the academy, and the posters of the campus Christmas ball were also posted, and there was excitement and joy everywhere. I walked into the classroom, and heard the students around her talking about how to spend Christmas. All of them were in high spirits, inexplicably infected, and her mood also became very good. A few students came over, both men and women, and asked Musa if she wanted to attend the school Christmas ball. I'm not in Jingling for a few days, I declined them with a smile, I will only go back to school after New Year's Day. Why are you coming back on New Year's Day? One of the female classmates said with a smile, we are going to go on winter vacation after playing, and we won't come in the last few days. I want to get the report card, I laughed. Everyone laughed together, the main thing is to meet Teacher Liao. You can log on to the campus website to check your grades, but some grades include final comments, which are handwritten, and you need to go to the teacher to get them in person, such as Liao Likan's comments. Everyone calls out Liao Likan. While talking, Zainan walked into the classroom, and they asked Zainan if he wanted to attend the Christmas ball. Zainan obviously didn't have a date that day. Hearing this, he was yearning for it, but hesitated shyly, but I don't know how to dance. What are you afraid of if you don't know how to dance? Just play around and eat, the students booed. Another girl smiled and said, the Christmas ball still lacks a Santa Claus. Zainan, do you want to be our Santa Claus? Zainan must be very cute as Santa Claus. Yes, Zainan is the mascot of our class. Zainan rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment, his face turned red again. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1047. The class bell rang, and everyone found their seats and sat down. Seeing that the teacher hadn't come in, Mu Zi said to Zainan, if you don't want to go, just refuse, don't be embarrassed. Mu Zi saw that when the girl said Santa Claus, Zainan had a trace of conflict in his eyes. Although the attitude of the other party is full of love, not every boy is willing to face this kind of love. To put it bluntly, they see that Zainan is white, fat, and cute, so they think it is suitable to be Santa Claus. Zainan smiled wryly, and said, actually, it doesn't matter, for a person like me, no girl would dance with me at the Christmas ball. It's better to be Santa Claus. At least everyone likes Santa Claus. You need to be more confident. Mu Zi comforted him, you haven't gone yet, how do you know that no girls are willing to dance with you? Zainan laughed at himself and shook his head, even if it's me, I wouldn't ask those short, fat, and ugly girls to dance. The girls are the same, they only want to find tall and handsome dance partners. Hearing these words felt a little uncomfortable, so Mu Zi stopped talking and didn't say anything. At this time, Zainan asked her, if, at the Christmas ball, I invite you to dance, will you dance with me? Mu Zi was slightly stunned, and then replied, yes, why not? They're friends, what's up with the dance? A smile appeared on Zainan's face, as if he was very happy. He didn't know that Mu Zi would not participate in the Training Institute's Christmas ball this year, and Mu Zi only took it as a casual question from him, and didn't bother to explain. The teacher walked into the classroom and began to teach. The classroom became quiet, only the rustling of notes being transcribed. Towards the end of the term, the university does not have the intensive exams in middle school, but there are various professional assessments, so everyone in the class is very serious. Zainan was especially serious, and it took a lot of effort to be serious. Because his grades in every subject are mediocre. Saying mediocrity is actually a euphemism. The students who can be admitted here are very rare. When everyone else is excellent, mediocrity means lagging behind or not being able to do so. Liao Liqin seemed to dislike Zainan, and always read a few words from him in class. If you are not talented enough, you must exercise your ability. If you are not capable enough, you must work harder. If you still can't do it after working hard, you must work harder, and keep working harder. While saying work hard, she took the teaching plan document and slapped it on Zainan's seat. There is no right to be lazy. There is no right to be lazy. If you want a lazy life, get out of my classroom as soon as possible. The training institute is not suitable for you. Zainan's head was lowered, his chin was almost touching his chest, his face was red and his ears were red, extremely embarrassed. The other students held their breath, not daring to breathe, for fear of being angered by Liao Liqin. Liao Liqin is too strict. Among a group of enlightened and gentle university professors, Liao Liqin is simply an outlier. Zainan was scolded for a while, and the frames of his glasses were foggy, as if he was about to cry. Mu Zi couldn't bear it, she felt that Liao Liqin had completely transferred her anger towards Zainan to Zainan. After class, Mu Zi went to Liao Liqin to discuss it. Mr. Liao, don't you think your teaching method is a bit inappropriate? Mu Zi said, the words you said are too hurtful. Liao Liqin looked indifferent, am I wrong? The Training Institute is a place to cultivate judicial talents for the country, not a nursing home. If you want to be lazy, leave early. Zainan is not lazy. He has been working hard, Mu Zi defended. Have you worked hard? At least from the homework he usually handed in, I can't see any hard work. Liao Liqin twitched the corners of her mouth, smiling, I only see him busy clinging to the powerful, courting and fawning everywhere. Look, it's still useful to please. Look, isn't there someone to fight for him now? At the last sentence, Li and Musa scolded together. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1048. Muzi's face was sullen, and she said in a deep voice, Teacher Liao, I hope you can be more objective and fair when you treat students. Don't bring your personal emotions into it. I don't have any personal emotions. If you don't work hard, you don't work hard. If you don't have the ability, you don't work. If he thinks my words are ugly, he shouldn't choose to apply for the training school. Liao Liqin's voice was cold, and she continued, in the future, when you graduate and become a prosecutor or a lawyer, you will have to face hundreds of times and 1,000 times more ugly things than you do now. I can't bear this grievance. What else can I do in the future? Go home as soon as possible. Never mind. Muzi was so angry that she clenched her fists, but there were many things she couldn't say from her standpoint. Zainan is a man, if she defends too much, it will make him appear weaker and incompetent, and hurt his self-esteem even more. The other students would think, look, if something goes wrong, they don't say anything, and rely on a woman to get ahead. What a loser. Muzi held back her anger and watched Liao Liqin leave, feeling very bad. Turning around to look at Zainan again, he was sitting on the seat, and several classmates comforted him, don't think about it, Liao Liqin has this personality. Last time Xiaoxu forgot to hand in her homework, she was also scolded by her, almost crying gone. Another student said, fortunately, it's only this semester. There will be no class in the next semester. I probably won't be able to see this teacher Liao. What if she still teaches other classes, you said humanely. Everyone's mood was instantly lost. Muzi was also depressed. After a day of classes, Musa went home by car. As soon as she entered the house, Aunt Chin immediately brought soup to dispel the cold. Muzi sat down and drank the soup, spoonful after spoonful, bored. At this time, Murong Cheng called. He was busy this week and said that he would come to Jingling to see her next week. The more festive days are, the busier the entertainment-related industries are, and those casinos and entertainment cities are full of carnivals and carnivals. You are busy with your work, anyway. I am also busy at the end of the term. Muzi sighed, there are several papers waiting to be written. Murong Cheng couldn't help feeling distressed when he heard this, and asked her, are you going to be this busy next semester? It's about the same. It's all loose at the beginning and tight at the end, but social service activities should be arranged next semester, and there won't be too many theoretical classes. Muzi talked on the phone, chatting with him about the school, and also mentioned Zainan and Liao Liqin. I hope I won't meet this teacher again next semester. Muzi sighed, you have such a bad temper. Why did she say that boy flattered you? Murong Cheng became alert, how did the other party flatter you? Muzi laughed, are you jealous? Yeah, Murong Cheng answered it as a matter of course, I'm jealous. Muzi couldn't help laughing out loud. Murong Cheng urged, quickly explain, how did he please you? If you don't clean up for a few days, you will go against the sky. Don't make trouble. Zainan isn't trying to please me, he's just, how should I put it, he's just more careful with everyone. Muzi explained to Murong Cheng, it's like the kind of person who has a particularly low self-esteem. He will subconsciously cater to each other. Zainan is very friendly to every student in the class, so it may give people the illusion of flattering. Murong Cheng listened to the explanation, but his tone became even more sour. We've only had a few classes together, and that's how we get to know each other? Why do I think you like him a little bit, and even fight for him? No, Muzi was afraid that he might misunderstand, so she explained, it's just a male classmate with a good relationship. If you don't believe me, As she spoke, she opened the phone's photo album, trying to show Murong Cheng the group photo of the whole class at the beginning of school. But when she found the photo and saw Zainan's honest smiling face in the crowd, her movements froze. Why do you want Murong Cheng to see the photos? Because Zainan is fat and not good looking, is this to prove that he can't like him? For a moment, Muzi felt that she was terrible. What is the difference between her behavior and those girls who invited Zainan to be Santa Claus? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 1049. Muzi was wrapped in self-loathing. She thought that she was not a person who judged people by their appearance, but now she found that she was not immune either. What if you don't believe me? Murong Cheng teased her on the phone. Muzi came back to her senses. If you don't believe me. Her voice faltered. Muzi was depressed, and she was no longer in the mood to joke. Believe it or not, I'll pull you down if you don't believe it. After she finished speaking, she fell silent, as if she was sulking. What's wrong? Murong Cheng was a little surprised, and could sense that she was not in the right mood. Muzi replied, it's nothing. The voice was weak, and Murong Cheng felt that she was perfunctory. Zizi, are you angry? He was puzzled. Did something he said offend her? But the two usually chat like this, and Muzi has never been angry. Muzi also found it strange and boring. She was just mad at herself. I'm fine, maybe I'm a little tired, she replied lazily, not wanting to make Murong Cheng worry unnecessarily, but she really lost interest in chatting. Murong Cheng became more and more suspicious. If Muzi was in front of him, he could hug her, stroke her tenderly, kiss her, rack his brains to find out what she was thinking, and try his best to calm her emotions. But Muzi was not there, and the two of them communicated over the phone, which made Murong Cheng feel the pain of lovesickness in a different place. Go to bed early when you're tired, and remember to soak your feet in hot water before going to bed. Murong Cheng remained calm and his voice was soft. The phone hangs up. When chatting on the phone, Muzi was depressed and felt that she had nothing to say, but now that the phone was hung up, her mood became even more depressed for no reason. She sat at the table, watching half a bowl of soup left in the bowl, and lost her appetite. Muzi was disheartened and felt that she was very hypocritical. She went upstairs to wash, curled up in bed and slept, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. I got up at night and went to the bathroom, and found out that my period was coming, and my heart suddenly relaxed. It seems that when menstruation comes, you can find excuses for your inexplicable emotions, such as irritability, anxiety, depression, and laziness. But then I thought of Murong Cheng's obsession with having a child. A greater loss enveloped her. Why haven't you conceived yet? We've been married for nearly 4 months, and we do it frequently. We have carefully calculated the ovulation period every month, and even took folic acid tablets for a long time. What is wrong? It's been less than half a year since we've been married, so maybe we shouldn't be in a hurry, but I've also heard that the chances of getting pregnant in the first 3 months of marriage are the highest. Muzi lay down under the blanket, her hands and feet were cold, she curled up like a shrimp, with one hand on her stomach, feeling her stomach was even colder. She felt cold all over. In the second half of the night, it slowly warmed up, as if someone had lit a fire beside me. Subconsciously absorbing the warmth, she kept approaching the fire, trying to squeeze into the flames to make herself warmer. Half asleep and half awake, she found herself nestled in Murong Cheng's arms. What time is it? Muzi was confused. Murong Cheng lowered his head and kissed her forehead. It's not until 5 o'clock, go to sleep. Muzi closed her eyes again, and fell asleep obediently. This time, I slept very peacefully and didn't open my eyes until 9 o'clock in the morning. She had a good night's sleep, her thoughts cleared up, and she was much more energetic. She asked Murong Cheng, "Didn't you say you were busy, why did you come back suddenly?" Murong Cheng had just woken up too, and had rushed over by plane at night, so it was rare for him to get a good night's sleep. "Miss you," he said lightly, without mentioning last night's call. After thinking about it, I knew that he was worried about herself. Her heart was warm and sweet, and there was some sourness in the sweetness. She raised her head and kissed his chin. The stubble that hadn't been shaved in time pierced her soft lips. I's mood was inexplicably bright, and the corner of her mouth also raised a slight smile. "Don't do this next time, I will feel bad. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again." Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 1050. Distressed? Then kiss me a few more times. Murong Cheng adjusted his position so that I could touch his lips. Accustomed to climbing along poles, I couldn't help laughing, and deliberately kissed the corner of his lips to prevent him from fulfilling his wish. Murong Cheng was really dissatisfied. He hugged I tightly with his slender and strong arms, opened his mouth to bite her tender lips, and kissed her deeply, tossing and turning. I was obedient, and did not move a single inch to let him ask for it. It took a long time for Murong Cheng to let go, and the warm palm was still covering her lower abdomen, slowly rubbing it. I felt warm all over. "Jingling is still too cold. I will go to Xianghai to settle down with me in the future, so as not to suffer from the cold," Murong Cheng said. I was a little afraid of the cold. Although there is air conditioning, it is stuffy and uncomfortable to close the doors and windows. The most important thing is that he is not by her side, his heart is empty, and he is very cold. "But I can't say this, I'm sorry." I rubbed against his chest, and snuggled closer into his arms. Murong Cheng asked her, "Why are you unhappy today?" He came back on purpose, and it would be meaningless to keep it a secret, so I told Murong Cheng about Zainan. "I always feel that I'm very hypocritical," I sighed. "On the one hand, I treat Zainan as a friend, and on the other hand, I judge people by their appearance. I even made him feel more confident, saying that there might not be girls dancing with him, but in fact I also think girls are unlikely to dance with him. Am I a sucker? Students who can be admitted to the training institute are the proud sons of heaven, so they must be a little arrogant. If that boy is really like you said, short, fat and bald, it's normal for girls to look down on him." Murong Cheng stroked her head, and said, "You are doing a rational analysis, and it has nothing to do with judging people by their appearance." I hummed, lowered her eyes, still feeling sorry for herself. The education she received since she was a child made her feel that judging people by their appearance is a moral defect. At this time Murong Cheng asked her, "Zizi, are you a god?" I was stunned, then looked up at him. "What? Are you a saint?" Murong Cheng asked again. "Of course not. As long as you are human, you will have all kinds of bad habits, such as gluttony, laziness, and prejudice. You are neither a god nor a saint. Why do you demand yourself like a saint? Do you think all living beings are equal? Do you want to save all living beings, Murong Chindeo?" I knew that Murong Cheng was trying to explain herself, but the way of explaining it was too unique. She couldn't help laughing. "What about saving sentient beings? Saving you alone is enough for me," I laughed. And Murong Cheng took her hand, put it on his lips and kissed it. "Continue to save me, baby." After finishing speaking, they turned over and pressed down, and the two rubbed their ears together. Menstruation can't stop the two from being tender. Even if they don't do anything, it's very comfortable to just snuggle together quietly. But Murong Cheng still had to leave after all. He had already spared extra time when he came here at night, and he had to rush back to Zhonghai City before 12 o'clock today. The charitable foundation held an event to distribute Christmas gifts to the children in the orphanage, and invitations were sent to the charity banquets of other welfare organizations. I need to attend in person. Murong Cheng put on his clothes, talking about his recent busy business. Mu Zi helped him fasten the collar buttons, and said with a smile, "You are very concerned about charity and public welfare work now." To accumulate blessings for the child, Murong Cheng raised his eyebrows and smiled, bent down, put his arms around Mu Zi's flat waist and kissed him a few times, as if there was already a child there. Mu Zi felt itchy and couldn't help laughing. After arguing for a while, she sent him to the door, and the outside wind poured into the room, making it freezing cold. Murong Cheng's back in a coat was tall and straight, suave and coquettish. For some reason, Mu Zi's heart tightened, and she was suddenly very reluctant. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 1051. She hugged Murong Cheng, her face pressed against his generous and strong back, and she didn't move for a while. Murong Cheng let her hold her for a while, then smiled and said, "Good boy." She was so clingy, making Murong Cheng's heart feel warm and greasy. His chest seemed to be filled with something, filling his whole heart. He hesitated whether to put the matter at hand, but Mu Zi let go of him, saying, "Let's go, the business is important, I will visit you after Christmas." Murong Cheng turned around, with a smile in his eyes, and gently touched her face. "Zizi, do you love me so much now?" "I hate it." Mu Zi's ears were burning hot, and she pushed him with a blushing face. "Hurry up and go." "Are you shy?" Murong Cheng smiled and bit her ear, "But I love you very much." Mu Zi bit her lip, because of his sweet words. Her whole body felt numb like an electric current, flowing from the soles of her feet, hitting her heart directly. Wanting to scold him for being shameless, the words lingered on the tip of his tongue, and finally swallowed them back. And Mu Zi replied very reservedly, the corners of her mouth curled up sweetly. Murong Cheng teased her, "Well, what do you mean?" Yes, what else could it mean?" Mu Zi pushed him into the car. "Hurry up, don't be late." Murong Cheng hugged her, kissed her fiercely for a while, and finally got into the car and left the villa by the lake. After he left, Mu Zi went back to the house. Obviously there is only one person missing, but the house feels empty all of a sudden. Maybe this is not home. Where there is Murong Cheng, it is her home. Mu Zi wraps her shawl around herself, and begins to look forward to Christmas. 2 days before Christmas, Mu Zi went to the presidential palace and brought some presents as a courtesy. The gift for Sidu Yan was a tie, and Chen Kaling bought a sapphire brooch. The old man got tea, and the old lady also gave a pair of horn combs. They are not very expensive, but thought has been put into them, and the family is very happy. The old lady also showed a rare smile. Since Ning Yue was imprisoned, the old lady's energy seemed to have collapsed all of a sudden, let alone swearing. She didn't even talk much on weekdays. It turned out that Sidu Yan was bored when she was messing around, but now seeing her lose energy, Sidu Yan felt very uncomfortable. At the dinner table, the old lady only ate half, and lost her appetite, so she was helped to leave the table. After a while, Mr. Sidu also left the dinner table. After the two old people left, Sidu Yan asked Mu Zi, "Christmas is over, when are you going to come back?" Mu Zi vaguely knew what Sidu Yan was thinking, and looked distressed. "The plan is to go back to school to get the report card after New Year's Day. It means that the winter vacation has to go again." Sidu Yan was really disappointed. "What about the Chinese New Year? You won't be back either." Mu Zi nodded. "We plan to celebrate the New Year in Zhonghai City. They want to settle down in Zhonghai, and it's right to celebrate the New Year in Zhonghai," Chen Kaling persuaded. Lest Sidu Yan feel bad, Jingling is Zizi's natal family, and it's fine to come back once in a while. When Sidu Yan heard this, he couldn't help sighing. He originally thought that there would be more people this year, so that the life would be more lively. After all, there was one person missing in the family, and he was worried that the old man would feel hurt when it was deserted. Now that I think about it, my own daughter recognized her, and she seemed to be married off without any fuss. Ugh. Sidu Yan was melancholy. When I come back from Xianghai, I will bring you gifts, Muzi I said with a smile, completely unaware of what the president's father was thinking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 1052. The winter sky is open and high. The yacht looks like a huge white bird under the blue sky, with a golden crown on its forehead, shining brightly under the warm sun. Muzi stood leaning on the railing, a gust of wind blew by, enveloping the moisture of the river, moistening her hair and skin in a daze. She let out a mouthful of mist slowly, feeling that the winter in Xinjiang is much gentler than that in Jingling. After arriving in Xianghai, do you not even feel the winter? The crew is busy carrying luggage back and forth. Muzi doesn't have much of her own things, anyway. Murong Chen will definitely prepare clothes and utensils for her. It's just that Zhuangjia was exaggerating. She alone filled 3 big boxes. There are a lot of places on the yacht. Muzi doesn't mind how much luggage she brings, but she is curious, but why do she have to bring so many things when she goes to Xianghai for a few days? Jia, what's in your box? Zhang Xinyuan asked curiously. Zhang Xinyuan only has 1 suitcase and a satchel. Wang Zilong has fewer things, just a backpack. Clothes, Zhuangjia replied, cosmetics, computers, chargers, miscellaneous things. Where is this box? Zhang Xinyuan pointed to a box. Put clothes on too. What about this? Zhang Xinyuan pointed to another box. Zhuangjia said with a smile, this is a secret. I can't let you see it now, and I will let you see it when I arrive in Xianghai. Wang Zilong jumped to the front of the suitcase, pretending to open it. What is so mysterious? Let me take a look first. Wang Zilong, you are going to die. Zhuangjia pretended to be angry, rushed over to press the trunk lid, and glared at Zhang Xinyuan. Xinyuan, don't you care about him? Zhang Xinyuan covered his mouth and smiled. The free-range ones have never been taken care of. Muzi was slightly startled, and glanced at Zhang Xinyuan. In the past, when Wang Zilong and Zhuangjia were fighting, Zhang Xinyuan would be very silent. It was a very deliberate silence, as if he felt that they were a couple, and speaking out by himself would only spoil the atmosphere. Unexpectedly, Zhang Xinyuan would also participate in these jokes now. Probably because they have clarified each other's intentions, so they have more confidence, right? Muzi thought, feeling happy for her friend, and said, let's go inside, it's windy outside. Zhang Ci and Yu Yang were also invited for this outing, but these two are busy with work. Even if they are on vacation, they only have a day and a half, so they cannot go to Xianghai for vacation. Muzi was a little worried at first, because in this way, she was with Murong Chen, Zhang Xinyuan was with Wang Zilong, and Zhuangjia was alone, so the situation seemed a little awkward. But Zhuangjia didn't seem to care, and still played with Zhang Xinyuan and Wang Zilong. The yacht is luxurious and the entertainment facilities are complete. 4 people get together to play poker, play billiards, and occasionally look at the scenery. The long journey will not feel boring at all. By the time they arrived at Xianghai, it was already night. The pitch-black endless Kangxiang enveloped the world. Zhuangjia called them excitedly, look outside. The evening wind is cold, but the sea scenery is as bright as fire. There are many high-rise buildings along the coast, the lights are gorgeous and connected together, the huge Ferris wheel rotates leisurely, and the towering towers are full of brilliance. The most prosperous city that never sleeps, Zionghai City. Muzi is actually very unfamiliar with this city, but because Murong Cheng is here, she feels warm in her heart and has a longing, wanting to take root here with him and join hands for the rest of her life. Zhuangjia opened her third suitcase and said happily, here are all the presents for you. One set for each of you. I personally designed a makeup dress. Merry Christmas. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HhandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 1053. Wang Zilong is indifferent to beautiful clothes, but Muzi and Zhang Xinyuan are very pleasantly surprised. Sewing the gown is time-consuming. It can be seen that Zhuangjia has been preparing for this a long time ago, and Zhuangjia not only prepared the gown, but also prepared an exquisite mask to match the gown. It's so beautiful, Muzi was extremely happy. The mask and dress that Zhuangjia prepared for her were purple. The hollowed-out eyes were decorated with rhinestones. The pattern was enchanting and charming. The feathers flying slanted on both sides were slightly longer, elongating the eyes, like a purple fox. Muzi touched the mask, then looked at the clothes, she couldn't put it down. Zhang Xinyuan's dress is lake green, full of fairy spirit, and extremely beautiful. Zhuangjia herself is a set of orange. Perhaps it was to prepare for the makeup party. The colors of these dresses were bold and bright. It would be exaggerated if you wear them normally, but they are very suitable in such a riot of colors. There was still a bright red dress left in the suitcase. Wang Zilong grabbed it and looked at it, his face turned blue, and said, I can't wear this. Zhuangjia laughed loudly, you have a good idea. This is for sister Zhang Ci, but it's a pity that she didn't come. Wang Zilong was immediately dissatisfied, without mine. Zhuangjia ignored him, and pulled Muzi and Zhang Xinyuan with great interest, and the three girls went to change clothes. After a while, three fairies appeared in front of Wang Zilong. At first, Wang Zilong looked at Zhang Xinyuan with hot eyes, and then his eyes fell on Muzi, and his throat rolled down nervously. Dressed like this, will master wrong? Boom. Before he could think about it, a few fireworks exploded in the sky, which was gorgeous and colorful. The girls all screamed, so beautiful. Wang Zilong only felt that he was going deaf. The yacht docked, and a group of people came to the street. Everywhere they could see was a sea of carnival crowds. Everyone in the street is dressed in fancy clothes, or wearing a mask, or paint on the face, and the whole city is singing and laughing, almost boiling. Muzi had never experienced such excitement. They are crowded and lively in the crowd, and the oncoming people, whether they recognize it or not, will say, Merry Christmas. They immediately replied, Merry Christmas. In short, everyone is beaming. Zhuangjia shouted in Muzi's ear, does your husband know that you are coming? Of course Murong Chen knew, but he didn't know the exact time, because Muzi still had to play with his friends, so he might not know when to find him. Zhuangjia joked again, can he recognize you dressed like this? Muzi didn't answer, there was only a widening smile on his face. I thought to myself, shouldn't it be possible? The mask blocked most of her face, only her lower jaw was exposed, making it difficult to identify. Including Zhuangjia and Zhang Xinyuan in front of her, if Muzi hadn't known in advance that one was wearing orange and the other was wearing green, she wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. After teasing Muzi, Zhuangjia finished teasing Wang Zilong, if I want to change Jinuan's clothes, will you recognize it? Worried that she would play a prank, Wang Zilong immediately grabbed Zhang Xinyuan's hand tightly, don't mess around. There are so many people on the street, what if you don't recognize them and everyone gets separated? All the girls laughed, staggering from side to side. A group of people in strange costumes came head-on, wearing colorful masks, and people on both sides passed by, sending blessings one after another. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Everyone was laughing, and Muzi was also happy. She was about to say Merry Christmas when a masked man in black suddenly took her hand from the back of the line. Muzi was surprised. Before she could react, the other party had already gently kissed the back of her hand. Merry Christmas! The voice was deep and lazy, as if coming across the river, surging and cold, but without emotion. Muzi seemed to be frozen. Little by little, she twisted her neck extremely slowly, and looked over the crowd, but she could no longer see the figure of that person. Is it an illusion? Why do you think it's Muzening?